Hey crafters, welcome back to another thrift flip project. You guys know we love taking items from the thrift store and making them a lot more interesting or complicated, depending on how you look at it. In today's project, I'm definitely working with something that I have worked with before. Ye old thrifted sweatshirts. 'Cause I found not one, but two cotton blend sweatshirts, light beige, light cream, at the thrift store. Found them the same day at the same store. When does that ever happen? So I took that as a sign that I need to thrift flip two sweatshirts. What am I going to do with two sweatshirts? Well, glad you asked, because I'm going to be visiting my sister soon, my partner in craft, and I think it would be fun to kind of twin with some upcycled sweatshirts. I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing with these guys. I do know that I need to change up the color a bit. Unfortunately, beige and cream does not look good on either of us. Thankfully, there aren't really any stains on either of these guys. They're in really good shape. I am wondering what I want to do with the branding. Oftentimes I'll just keep, the branding in place and dye over and do different embellishments. I think it looks pretty cool that way. I'm thinking about maybe changing this one up. I don't know. I thought maybe I could put like something over it. As to color, I'm also not entirely sure. I don't have a whole lot of time before my trip, so it needs to be something that I can do relatively efficiently. I'm probably not going rainbow squeezy bottle like I did for this one, because that takes a little more setup and a little more cleanup on my end. So some kind of a tie-dye, some kind of a coloration, and then maybe some kind of embellishment. Thought about maybe doing some painting, or maybe some like patches or other things. I have my work cut out for me, both creatively and DIY-ively. Transform these sweatshirts into something fun, some sister style to wear with my sister. Let me do a little DIY brainstorming, and then I'll show you the supplies I gather and, of course, my process, how I intend to thrift flip these beige-ish sweatshirts into something a lot more colorful. Let's dive in, roll up your crafty sleeves, let's get started. Well, guys, after having a good old think and some panicked art supply shopping online, I think we got a plan. Oh man, I just couldn't get the idea of this yellow out of my brain. So golden yellow it is. Nice yellow color. I mean, it is warm, but it is not orange. And I'm hoping it'll play really nicely with the base tones of the sweatshirts. I'm honestly picturing just doing like all over yellow, like everything yellow, not really tying up the sweatshirts to get like tie-dye patterns or anything. I think I'm just turning them yellow. But then, we want to make it kind of cute and unique on top of that. So I found some patches. Aren't these cute? Yeah, the leaves and the flowers came together. But honestly, it was the leaves that sold me, because I thought those are just way too cute. And having like the green leaves into the colored leaves. The blooms are cute too. But thought the colors were great. I hope that'll work really nicely with our RIT dye. I did get these patches on Amazon. If I'd had a bit more time, I would have loved to get them on Etsy, because there's some just gorgeous, gorgeous patches folks are making there on Etsy. But yeah, what am I doing with these patches? I'm not totally sure yet. One idea was to cover up the words with maybe like a sequence of leaves, Thought that could be a fun idea. And then maybe like on the other sweatshirt, do like flowers on the border of the sweatshirt, or maybe just like randomly all over. The patches do have that sticky iron-on backing on the back, so I may end up ironing the patches onto the sweatshirt and then hand sewing around them to keep them in place. That's a job for future me. Right now, us needs to do some dyeing, so let's head on over to the bathroom laboratory. We're gonna fill up a big old tub of water and RIT dye and follow those package directions and turn these guys yellow. Let's get started. All right, guys, welcome to the bathroom laboratory. I'm gonna be using a big tub. Fill that up with water and dye and do the dyeing in there. I do not wish to stay in my bathtub. I will also do this sometimes in buckets outside. That's nice if you have space to do that. Or even in a stainless steel sink. I have been told that doing this in a washing machine is very effective too, but I'm not doing that option today. Here's where I'm at. Okay, supplies. We've got lots of supplies. Okay, so I'm working off of package directions here on our RIT dye. They suggest that I could add some salt to the dye bath to help if I'm dyeing cotton, so I'm gonna do that. Also adding a little bit of dish soap in there as well. And you can also check out the RIT website, and they've got lots of directions for doing different processes and also color recipes, which is pretty cool. Of course, they're not sponsoring my content, but, you know, RIT dye, hey, if you ever wanted to. Cleaning supplies, always gotta have them. Love to put down towels. Love to clean up any spills, any drips, any splatters as quickly as possible. I find that this stuff helps a lot with getting rid of stains, so that's cool. Okay, let's start in. I think I'm gonna be filling up this tub. Getting the salt and the dye in there. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think I may end up using more than half a bottle on this guy, because I do want the sweatshirts to be pretty yellow to go with those patches. So I think I'm probably aiming for like 3/4 of a bottle for the two sweatshirts. We'll see. Okay, let's fill her up and get to dyeing. Well, guys, it has been about 25 minutes, half an hour, and I've been stirring these guys around quite a bit. I just took a look at them, kind of pulled them out of the dye, and looked to see if the dye was like, evenly coloring the sweatshirts. I've definitely had times where I didn't stir the garments enough. Clean that up. And the color ended up being kind of patchy. So I like to check before I dump out the dye that the garments are, you know, evenly colored as much as possible. I realized I could have dyed each one separately, and that would have given them more wiggle room in this dye bath, so that might have helped. I've definitely made mistakes before where I didn't give the garment enough room to swirl around in the dye, and I didn't stir it enough, and that seems to result in more patchiness. But these guys look pretty good, so I think we're doing okay. Also, you might have noticed I did a little test with some paper towel to just see how dark the dye was, and realized, yeah, I think I need to use the whole bottle. So I did. And, I'm glad I did, because it's a great color, but, it's not dark. It's kind of a light yellow. And of course, this guy is the darker colored sweatshirt, so it's a different color yellow, as it would be. But I think what I'm gonna do is dump out the dye and then refill up our tub, get a little fixative in there. I think I let the garment sit in the fixative solution for about 20 minutes. Let me check the package. And yeah, about 20 minutes. And let that sit to kind of lock in the color a little bit. And then after that, I'm gonna wash and dry the garments on cold, in the washing machine, and we'll see what they actually look like. So let's do a little fixative work, then I'll do a little laundry work, and hopefully we'll have some bright colored sweatshirts. Well, talk about a color transformation. Sunshine yellow. I think we got it. Wow. Okay, I'm really happy with how these turned out. Great color. I like how the yellow played with, like, the cream background is like a true sunshine, and then the beige background is more of like a kind of like goldenrod, or maybe like a mustardy color, like a little more muted, but cool color. I'm glad I ended up using the whole bottle of dye. I think that was a good thing for this amount of fabric. And I'm also really glad that I stirred them a lot and gave them a bunch of room to move around in the dye bath, because they look pretty even with their coloration. So that is so nice. Okay, now that we've got these guys yellowified, I think it is time to figure out what to do with those patches. So let me show you some ideas I have. Aw, this is what I've been thinking of for the logo camouflage. I think we're gonna puzzle piece in some ginkgo leaves. There were a couple other ideas, like I thought about doing leaves all over the sweatshirt and like just leaving the words, but these kind of fit together, honestly. Like if I can like get them in there just right, I think they're gonna totally cover up the words. So I think I gotta go for it. With these guys, since the position is really important, I think what I'm gonna do is probably get out my quilting ruler and just make sure that I've got everything centered. And then I'll probably take one of my disappearing fabric pens and trace like all around the edge of the leaves so that I can hopefully position them pretty close to this when I need to iron the patches on. I think having that trace will hopefully help me put them back in order in the right angles, because they got to go kind of like just the right way. I'm gonna try it. All right, that's what I was thinking. I tried to make sure that I got those leaves basically in the center. Didn't want to have too many leaves going to the left or to the right to unbalance everything, but it looks like we are pretty well lined up. And I did trace around the edges so I can hopefully keep them in place when I'm ironing them down. Wish me luck. Okay guys, it is ironing time. I've done a quick Google search on best ways to apply patches, because I don't usually iron these on. So kind of learning a little bit as I go. It looks like they're suggesting to warm up the fabric first, and then place the patch on, and then cover that with a thin cloth or parchment paper to really press that down and protect the fabric. So I'm gonna hold that down probably like 20-25 seconds for this type of fabric. I hope that'll work. Then they also suggest ironing from the other side. I think what I'll probably do is try to get them all on and then try to iron from the other side a little bit. I also can't do that too much because this is cotton and polyester and I don't want to melt the fibers. So we're kind of on medium heat, medium amount of time because we don't want to damage the patches or the sweatshirt fabric. So fingers crossed. Let's switch over to time lapse and get started. Okay guys, well we got them on. I'm gonna let them kind of cool in place there before I mess with them too much. I don't think I'm going to turn the sweatshirt inside out and iron from the other side. I don't want to melt that fleece, but also I am going to be stitching around these patches, at least doing like a little bit of stitching to keep things in place. So I think that'll be okay. All right, got to switch on over to the other sweatshirt. Well, guys, I'm thinking of something a little more straightforward for this guy. I think I'm going to go flowers, and we're going to do a little one near the front. You can tell I've kind of marked where I want him to go. And then been trying to work out where I want the blooms down here, and I think this is going to be good. I did little marks at the top and the bottom just so I can hopefully not have any too close to the edge and have them basically evenly spaced. I hope so. I think it looks good. I'm going to be ironing just like I did the other ones. Here we go. Well, you guys, we finally have finished sweatshirts. Woo! All right, sewing on all of those little patches. Definitely took some time. Tried to get stitches going all around the blooms. and definitely on the stems. I probably could have done a little bit less stitching, but it ended up being kind of a satisfying project because I could work at each bloom one at a time and then put the project down, take breaks, do other things. The leaves are pretty darn cute. The stems were a little tricky to get sewn down, but those finger grips I was using and the thimble really, really helped. You mostly covered up the words. Like, you really can't see it too much, so I think it was effective. Overall, I'm really happy with these guys. I love the transformation, love the colors. The patches are so cute. So I can't wait to get my sister to wear one, and I will wear one, and we will show you what they look like. If you guys get behind thrift flipping your own sweatshirts, changing them up, brightening things up a little bit, then give this video a big thumbs up and consider subscribing for more fun stuff from Partners in Craft. We're always up to something around here. Love to have you back for more adventures. All right, well, it is a sunny day outside. We're gonna go find some sunshine, maybe some blooms, and take some pictures and show you what these guys look like.
Exercise. Do this more often. Yes, it is.